Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're finally talking about modules. I know I saved this last because everything kind of goes into a module, and it is, for the most part, your primary place for your course content. So I'm going to come into the empty shell, but I'm also going to toggle back to the class that I have currently in Brightspace to show you some of the things and how things are set up. So when I go into that class, here's module 1. You can see that I've clicked 2 out of the 5 things. So you can have this option available for students as well so that they can see what they've completed and what they have not completed. You'll see the little check marks here by the things that I've looked at. Another thing about modules is that from our point of view, when we're setting things up, at least this is how it looks in our Brightspace currently, we have content, and that's where I'm accessing those modules. For the student view, once the course is set up, at least for this course, everything is actually here under course menu. So that's where they see announcements, learning modules, discussions, assignments, grades, etc. All of these right here for us at the current time are across the list here: content, assignments, discussions, quizzes, class list, grade, all of that. So I just wanted to tell you that I'm not sure, in the end product, depending on the version of Brightspace we have, it might look like this where we have a course menu, and it might look like that for students as well. So when you come in here, you can go into content in your little course sandbox, and here are the modules. They're all over here on the left hand side. Now the table of contents, when I click on that, automatically shows students all of the modules and gives them an overview of the entire course. Again, this is a really nice feature that we didn't have in Blackboard. It's kind of similar to this course schedule in terms of things auto-populating. So I don't have to create a course calendar separately or create a table of contents separately. As I'm creating the modules, as I'm creating discussions, assignments, quizzes, all of those due dates go into the course schedule, and all of the module content goes right here into table of contents. The course schedule in this content place shows you upcoming, which for here is just tomorrow and the next 7 days. And it also shows you the full schedule. So you can let students know, if you just want to see things week by week, you can use that upcoming button. If you want to view the full schedule, you can use that full schedule button. You can also have an overview. Now, this is not auto-populated, but this is a great place to put your syllabus. And you can also have a welcome message, a description of the class, the student learning outcomes. You could also add, a meet your instructor thing here as well. And you can add attachments. So if you want to add something like your syllabus, this would be the place to do it. Otherwise, we're going to look at the modules themselves. So here, test 3, they had in our sandbox, they built week 1 for us. I tested something out in this module, test 2, and now I'm in test 3. So I'm going to show you, you can hide this module from users. You can set all completion, move up, move down, enter data, or delete the module altogether. Some of the settings here that you might want to play with include the content arrangement. You can do it by type. This is something that if you've set categories, and especially if you have a class where you don't have it points-based, you have it weighted by categories, maybe you want that also in your display options. So you can set it by content type, and you can have the information come up first, and then maybe your discussions for that week, and then maybe quizzes or journals, or a journal and a paper, whatever the case may be. Or you can manually arrange that content as well. So it really is just up to you, whatever you prefer. The rest of this, the content authoring and the default font settings, I don't usually change those. I talked about before, you can lead students through their general settings so that if they have an issue with a vision issue for which they need some accessibility accommodations, they can change that in that profile setting. You can also, though, here set completion tracking. So these are really the two settings that I recommend. You can put things in here by content type if you want, and you can also require the automatic completion tracking. So if a student clicks through things and does the homework, it'll show that with that little check mark that I just showed you guys a second ago, it'll show that that has been completed. Now, if you don't want to, you can turn that off and you can have it be not required. But the default status, I think, is really nice just for students to kind of keep track of what they're seeing and what they're doing as well. Okay, so I'm going to save those settings. The other thing here is lots of options here, move up, move down, etc. The number one thing you need to know is if you delete a module. Basically, you have two different options. The first is, can I zoom in on this? Yes, I can. All right. The first option is to remove the module and all nested modules and topics from content, but keep associated files and activities in this course. The second is to permanently delete and remove all nested modules, topics, and all associated files and activities from the course. So why might you want to keep this first thing checked off? Because I set up a survey here in this module. If I delete the module but I keep all of the associated files, I'm going to try this out here. I could be wrong. All right, so it's deleting the module, but it should keep that file. Okay, back to table of contents. You'll see that it's removed, and it's removed over here on the left-hand side. Now I'm going to go into my other test module. I'm going to click existing activities. I'm going to click survey, and my survey is already there. So all I had to do was delete that old module and click to associate the survey with this module instead. So that's kind of nice because if you're moving things around, you don't want to delete the module and all of the associated files unless you really put it in the wrong course or something like that. Otherwise, you keep the files in the background and you can associate them with whatever module you want. So that's pretty helpful. So how do you create a module? Well, it's very easy. All you do is go over here and I'm going to say module, let's say 14. Why not? There we go. So now my new module is created. The settings are going to be all those default settings. I left off the content arrangement, but I do have the completion showing automatically. So I'm going to keep those settings. And then we have our other options. So my recommendation is to click a start date and an end date. You can also have a due date for everything in this module if you want. So let's start this next Sunday. And we're going to have our end date the following, let's say Saturday at the end of the day. And I just realized that I set this for Sunday at 2 p.m., which makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, so now I have those dates in there. And the reason that I have, I'm going to click update just so my dates go through. The reason that I have that is that if you notice over here, my module now has dates associated with it. So it's really easy for students to see what dates this module starts and what dates it ends. And the only real drawback to that is that if you have this course again next semester, you are going to need to redo those dates even if you copy the course over. But that's not that much different from Blackboard. And in fact, I think here where you choose the dates, and then they show up everywhere. In Blackboard, we had to type the dates into the folder number and then also put them in the calendar and then also put them on the course schedule. It's one and done here. So it really is quite a bit easier. It's not going to take you hours to change those dates over. So then, for example, if you go here into Course Scheduler, and then I've clicked here Full Schedule, I've been playing around with this for all these videos, so all the fake assignments are here with the due dates automatically, but also it tells you when the module ends. So it has the start date up here, and then it also, it tells you, it has the end date, and then it tells you the dates. So April 3rd to April 9th. When I populate this module with things, all of those items are going to come up here as well, which is really helpful. And again, it's one and done. It's pretty much done automatically. So you can upload or create assignments. You can add a video, you can create a file, you can create a link, all of those different things. Again, we talked about new assignment, new discussion, new quiz. All of those are there for you. So I'm going to just take a moment and add some stuff in here, just to show you what that kind of looks like. So first I'm going to upload a file. It'll probably be something random. I'm going to click to upload from my computer, and we've got study guide for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Sure, why not? Add that. There it pops up right there. You can also edit the properties in place. So let's say my file was called something else, and I just wanted like study guide, or I named it like the worst study guide ever or something like that. I can change that pretty easily by editing it in place. I can also change out the file, so maybe I wanted the play and not the study guide. I'm going to upload one more file. Whoops. This is creating a file. You can do that too. That's just not what I really wanted to do right now. I'm going to upload this file again to my computer. Upload. I just want a number of things in here. Here, I'll do the play. I just want a number of things in here so that you can kind of see what it looks like when it's all filled out. I got that error message because I clicked add before it was done. So yeah, wait for the bar to go all the way across and don't be quite so impatient. I'm going to add that. And then it's really easy to move things around. So let's say I want the play before the study guide. I can do that. And then let's say that I want some other things in here too. As I'm about to add that, I noticed too, I actually do need to edit this because I spelled something wrong. Embarrassing. Okay, so let's say that I want to upload a video. It's done a little bit differently here than it is if you upload one. We talked about how to do that in a announcement. So here, the audio or video, you can upload from your computer if you have something, or you enter the URL or embed the code. So I'm going to go here to YouTube. This is the trailer for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. When I click share, I can actually go here to embed, and I'm going to copy this code here, and then I'm going to go back to my module and I'm going to paste the embed code. Simple Control V, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. I'm going to shorten up the title. There we go. And that's it. I'm going to save that. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my module. It pulled that up in very large form, and now you can see PDF document, video. Now the other option here is to create your own file. You can also create a link. So let's do the link first. Pretty easy. You give a title for the link. So I've got an article pulled up about Edward Albee. I'm just going to name it article about the playwright spelling it correctly this time, and copy the link and then paste. And then you can have it open as an external resource, or you can have it open in here. And of course it's giving me the warning, like you really want it to open in a new window because otherwise it'll take people out of Brightspace. And create. And there's my link. And then when I click it, it says open a new window. Now, I will tell you that unlike some of the other things, students sometimes don't, they just come to this page and it just looks like this. It doesn't like mean anything. So you might want to like add a little bit of a clearer explanation, like click the link, or at least in class kind of show them, because I've noticed with some of these external links that they don't always look at that. You can also toggle between all the things that you've put in the module, so that's another thing that students can see. Here's my PDF. My other PDF will be ahead of that, or you can see everything in the module all at once. So if you have things that you want them to look at sequentially, again, you can kind of show them how to go through all of those things. And again, you can rearrange stuff pretty easily, just drag and drop. This was a feature in Blackboard that really became quite confusing. It wouldn't always rearrange things correctly. So I'm going to do two more things here. The first is I'm going to create a file. Maybe. Here we go. So here, maybe this is some class notes that I want them to look at, or I want them to see a file with an explanation and then the movie trailer that I just have in the other link. Whatever you want that to be. So I'm just going to fill this in. Okay, one thing I didn't mention before, you can paste the text and it'll come up the way that it came up when you copied it. If you have something that you're copying and pasting, you can also, it's Control-Shift-V and it'll take that formatting off. So that's kind of nice. So I've got some text here. I'm going to add a picture. This one's pretty dramatic. Copy image. And I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to paste. And then you can play around with how big or small you want it. Again, I showed this in the, let's justify that. And then let's say I have more text. So I say like blah, 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 blah. You'll notice that the picture moves, so it doesn't stay kind of in line. So just be kind of, that's just a feature to be aware of. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to wrap quite the same way that we had in Blackboard. So yeah, same as the other things I showed you guys before. You can select colors, you can add headings, you can make bullet point lists, you can add other stuff to insert. The only thing to note really is that you have to click these little three dots here to check the accessibility. So here, no accessibility issues detected. Great. So I can save that and close. And I have that file in there for students. Little description and the picture. And again, if I go back to my module, it's nice because it doesn't show up as a, it's showing as a web page because you've created a web page in your course. But it's not showing all the information. It's just basically giving students the list of all the items that are in the folder. They can click on one and then go through as they need, as they're reading or watching or listening or whatever the case may be. So the last thing that I want to show you on here in the module is this creating a new survey. I'll show you how this works. Basically, again, this top bar, exactly the same, but it's really set up kind of like a quiz. So I'm going to put module 14 survey. That's my module. And you can mark it as anonymous. Now, once you do that, you can't undo it. So you can't set it up as anonymous and then go in and edit it. You can edit other things, but you can't edit whether or not it's anonymous. I'm going to make sure this is showing for users. And let me know what you thought of the play and whether you think I should keep it again, teach it again in the future. That might be a quick survey. I like to know, did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Another survey, I'll show you guys what my class here is set up with. Each module in this course has a survey associated with it. And when I go to view the topic, I have kind of limited access here, so I don't want to like click into it because it'll start editing it, and that's not what I want. But I'm going to preview it to show you guys what it looks like. So basically, the way this is structured is after each module, we have a quick check for students to kind of do some of that metacognition. This is module 1, so it's asking, I understand 1 out of 10 what's expected of me in this course. I feel confident in my ability to do work online, and then rate their experience for this week. Then I quickly switched over to module 4. So this is the module 4 survey, and you'll notice some of the questions are a little bit different. So this is an 8-week course. Halfway through, they want to know, I find it easy to communicate with my instructor, 1 out of 10. I feel connected to my instructor, 1 out of 10. And then again, rating their experience this week. You notice too, it's not a long survey. Doesn't take a long time for students to fill out. Click, 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 and that's it. They can submit it. So I think that this can help getting real feedback in a timely manner, which allows us to kind of change our instructional methods if we need to. So it's just something to consider. Here, though, I'm asking about whether or not they liked the book. So I'm going to save. You can see I get that thing. Once it's set as anonymous, it can't be undone. I'm going to click yes. And then it goes into the survey options. So once I have the survey created, then I do the actual setup and the properties, the restrictions, the objectives, all of those come up. So here, I'm not going to associate a category with it. I'm not going to give feedback. I'm leaving it as anonymous, and then I'm going to ask the questions. So it's done a lot like the quizzes. When you get in here, you're going to do a new question, and you can do true, false, multiple choice, multiple select, written response, short answer, and so on. So here, I'm going to do that Likert scale. So I'm going to leave the title off. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how much did you enjoy the book? This is a horrible question. I would really not ask it this way, but I just want, here we go. There's the 1 to 10. I also think that 1 to 10 is too much, actually. So let's do 1 to 5. 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. How much did you enjoy? First of all, also this is a play. Okay. So that's pretty much it. You can also include an NA option. You can set it 1 to 8, 1 to 10, agree, disagree, satisfaction, etc. But here I'm just going to have it be 1 to 5. And I'm going to save and new. Whoops. It's telling me field cannot be empty because I have these weird things down here below. So, okay, so I'm going to delete the second option because I don't want them to be having 2 things here. I just want the 1. And then basically you're asking the question here as well. Now, you can have a larger umbrella of introductory text. Let's say I had a question about, well, I'll show you guys in a second. So I just want to show this. You can also have feedback, even if it's something like, thanks for filling out our survey. Boop. And then you can preview. So here we go. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, how much did you enjoy the play? Did you enjoy the play? Right, on a scale of 1 to 5. And then they can pick. So that's basically what it is. And the comment, feedback, thanks for filling out the survey. Done. So I'm going to have a new question here. And, oh, sorry. I'm going to save and then create a new question. And this time I'm going to have like an umbrella question. Let me know which books you liked best in this class. So here I'm going to have still a scale of 1 to 5. And this is where I'm going to have multiple options. So here I'm going to put 5, and I'm just going to type the books for a class that I'm doing right now. Okay, so I've got those all filled out. And again, thanks for giving feedback on the books for this course. And I'm going to save. You could preview it again, but we just did that. So now it's showing me the 2 questions I have for this survey, and I'm going to put done editing my questions. And since I've already looked at things like restrictions and having a start and end date, having unlimited attempts, probably here I just want to do single. Just let them do it one time. I don't want multiple things from the same person. I can also set objectives if I want to connect this to a specific course objective, and I can set up my reports if I want to add a report. But for right now, I'm just done, so I'm going to save and close. And there is my survey. And you can see that it's in module 14. So I'm going to go back to my module. And I'm just going to look at the dates are there. I've got the play, I've got the study guide, I've got the article, I've got the video, and I've got that little internal web page I created, and then my survey. So my module is done. Now, when I go back to the table of contents, I look, and there is everything in that module. So students can again access the items in the table of contents directly, or they can find it in the module itself. Now you notice that in this module I didn't create any actual assignments. That's because I already had some and I think it was kind of looking messy. But if you wanted to link an existing assignment, discussion forum, or quiz, you could do that too. And then it would come up here in your course schedule as something that was due, as opposed to just a table of contents item. So things, whoops, things like articles, PDF documents, links, videos, etc., they don't have due dates on them. Just the assignments have due dates. The last thing I want to show you guys is here you can do bulk edit. Now that doesn't mean that you're changing everything at the same time. It just means it's making all of these editable. So if I want to add dates on everything, or if I want to hide the visibility of everything, if I want to delete some items, I can do all of that in that bulk editing button. And that's it. That's how you set up a module. So I hope that this helped. I know that, moving from one learning management system to another can be kind of difficult, but hopefully this was helpful. And if you have any questions, you can always come by my office. Thanks, everybody.